Let's jump right in, shall we? Here's a question. Do you think that change is A, not so good, B, awesome, or C, something that should be embraced? Take your time. Okay, time's up. If you answered A, not so good, on occasion you'd be correct, but you may need to look at it from a different perspective. If you answered B, change is awesome, I like your spirit. And yes, that too is sometimes correct. And there are ways to make that happen more often. If you answered C, change should be embraced, congratulations, you are correct 100% of the time. That's what we're here to learn, and that's why I created this course called Embracing Change. Hello and welcome. My name is Rudy Poe, and I have spent my entire life creating this course just for you. I'll explain that in a minute. That said, I'm honored you've decided to spend some time with me, and I can promise you I will do my very best to make it worth your while. One thing that's going to happen to us during our time here together is we're both going to change. For the better, I might add. With that in mind, I'd like to start by sharing 3 things. First, a little bit about me and why I created this course. Second, an explanation of why I'd like you to consider looking at the word change from a different perspective. And third, I'll give you a quick peek at a process that's key to our best future, both yours and mine. First, why am I here? A few years ago, I interviewed a gentleman named Randy Komisar, who told me something that I haven't been able to get out of my mind ever since. We were talking about how to find inspiration, and one of his suggestions was to find something to rub up against, find something to oppose. Some years before, he wrote a book entitled The Monk and the Riddle. The inspiration for that book stemmed from a personal rant, something Randy was opposed to. This course is my personal rant. In a nutshell, my rant, my rub, the thing that gets my goat, has to do with a single word: change. It's not change that I have an issue with, it's the fact that most people don't like it. They don't like anything about it. Zero, zippo, nada. Change sucks, they say. Here's the thing. We live in a world of change. With every breath, something changes. Literally, more now than ever. These changes range from internal and personal, like health, work, or relationships, to something bigger, external, and broader, like natural, political, or technological changes at local, national, and even global scales, all of which impact our lives. Sadly, most people choose to close their eyes and ignore or deny this fact. And that, my friend, is my rub. I've thought about this quite a lot over the past few years, and 2 years ago, I came to the conclusion that I must do something about this. I wondered, is it possible to fix this problem? I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to give it a try anyway, one person at a time. And right now, perhaps, that's you. This opens the door to another word: purpose. In other words, my why. It took me 59 years to come to the conclusion that perhaps my reason for being can be summed up in this single word: change. When I finally figured that out, it was one of the best aha moments of my life. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm motivated to do this. My discovery stems from the notion that throughout my entire life, change has come from one of 2 places. It has either been thrust upon me, or I have created it myself. Sometimes it was good. Other times it sucked. The bottom line is, change, whether we like it or not, impacts each and every one of our lives. There's no getting around it. We all share this fact. It's common to us all. As a kid, change permeated my life. My parents moved a lot, so I changed schools frequently. They got divorced and remarried, and I lived with my grandparents for quite some time. I went to college, then moved to LA for grad school. After that, I worked for a magazine, an ad agency, and 2 documentary production companies. Then I started a couple companies myself. The first lasted a dozen or so years. We made films. After that, I focused my entrepreneurial skills on something completely different. I co-founded a company that made healthy food for dogs. Go figure. Along the way, I got married and had a couple kids. I'm now on what I would consider my 3rd career. I'm remarried, and life today is nothing like it's ever been before. In fact, it's the best it's ever been. Thank you, change. While my life is my story and your life is yours, I'd be willing to bet that change has had a significant impact on your story as well. Why else would you be here? I've come to realize that change is opportunity, and change should be embraced, not feared, not run away from. It was in 2005 I finally recognized this, when I began work on a project that has since become our shared experience today. The project was originally entitled the Imagine It Project, and over the years, it too has gone through an evolution. But like evolution, some of the original DNA remains, and so I will share some of that content with you during our time here together. Earlier this year, I had another aha moment. The thought occurred to me that most people view change in the abstract, which makes it hard to grab hold of. You see, change isn't really a thing that you can touch, taste, see, hear, or feel. It's a verb. It's perceived as a random action. So in an attempt to make it more real, and therefore something we can better understand, I'd like you to begin to think of it as a noun, a tangible entity, a force of nature, like the wind or the sea. That may sound a little kooky, but if you think about it, it's not really that unusual. Maybe you've heard the term sea change or the phrase, the winds of change, right? So it's not really a new thought, but one that's important to this course. By way of example, allow me to demonstrate. I could say the season changed from summer to fall, or the weather changed from warm to cold. But what is it exactly that made the thing change from what it was to what it became? My answer to that is change. Change did it. It could even be argued that change is the most powerful force in nature, an all-encompassing phenomenon that comes with the passage of time. I love comparing it to nature because change is nature. It's the natural progression of the universe and everything in it. Sometimes it happens slowly, sometimes in an instant, sometimes it's not even noticeable. Other times, it's like a slap in the face. Like the ocean, it comes in waves. It's relentless, it's always, and it's forevermore. I want you to know that change is a force that can be reckoned with. It can be used to our advantage. While that may not be easy, and we certainly can't control change, we can exert our influence on it and bend it to our will. Congratulations, you've just learned the first lesson. Change is real and it exists. Now that we're aware of its existence, we can begin to learn how to deal with it. And if we want to deal with it, it's critical we embrace it. The third thing I'd like to share with you is equally monumental. I figured out that dealing with change is actually quite simple. It's about problem solving, creative problem solving. You see, solving problems is a creative process, and that process is universal. We'll go deep into that process a little bit later, but for now, it's as simple as 1, 2, 3. Imagine, create, transform. That's it. Now, you may think that's pretty underwhelming, but I'm here to tell you that this is epic, and I'm going to share with you how you can apply this concept in your life and create the change you want to see. You'll soon learn that I love to share quotes from people far wiser than I. Here's the first one I'd like you to consider. It's from an American poet, singer, and activist, Maya Angelou. We delight in the beauty of the butterfly, but rarely admit the changes it has gone through to achieve that beauty. In the next session, I'm going to get into the details of the course and share with you what you can expect. Thank you again for honoring me with the gift of your time. We're just getting started, so stick around.